Oh, flash crash. I'm your host, Bill Noble. This is the market update. We are about to enter into a world where instead of the crypto market, it's going to become a market of cryptos, meaning some cryptos will smoke higher while others either go down or go sideways. This show is brought to you by my Patreon. Patreon.com/unhinged. Okay. We got 120 strong members and 208 people in the free section. Come on over and check it out. We're getting ready for the next cycle. Come with us. Come with me. Now, couple things. Everyone wants a dip. They get one. It's too scary. Every dip in a bull market is too scary by rule. In other words, everyone wants one and then they get one and they go, oh my God. Now, this dip occurred because crypto, as usual, exercised its right to F itself by having 1000x trending on Twitter. At which point I did my podcast with an EMS truck with lights on in the background. So appropriate. When everyone's talking memes and when everyone's talking about 1000x's, you think about why you're in crypto to begin with. Then the market gives you a dip like this, and you're like, thank you. Happy flash crash. Santa comes to town. Market's going to give you a golden opportunity to scoop it up now and definitely headed into Christmas, right? Like right after Christmas, that's when you grab it. Okay. And some of this stuff like Secret and Avalanche, it's LFG NFA right now because privacy, security token functionality. Yes, if you caught the meme thing, you made tons of money, but most people didn't. Most people didn't. And that's okay because there's plenty of bull market left because this hasn't even started. The future of AI, money, all these multiple layer ones that are going to be required to run all these different applications. This is like the first inning, like they just stepped out onto the field. So if you want to know what's up with charts and news and all the laughable things, we'll go through Larry Fink at BlackRock. You're in the right place. Okay, let's welcome who's on the show. Nico said that EMS truck was like a filter. Yes, that was kind of a classic. BitBoy Al is talking about the AVAX ecosystem. Luis is here, right? Aiken, what's up? FD White, Patriot Caveman, Bull Runner, welcome. Matt wants to know how the Galaxy chart's looking. Matt, you'll be happy to know I made my Galaxy price target much higher. If you don't know what Galaxy is, don't go anywhere. Philip is here. Richard Barry, of course. Lot more crypto. Welcome. Welcome to the show. All right. News. Let's go. I love this. Decrypt Person of the Year. Lucifer. I'm sorry. No, not Lucifer. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, Legacy wants to control crypto, and I don't know why people don't see the danger in this. Okay. This guy's buying single-family housing into trying to turn Americans into like perma-renters, like serfs in some medieval strange world. Come on. This is the person of the year in crypto? People, never underestimate the media's ability to get things wrong. Yes, a spot Bitcoin ETF is a positive thing, but a spot Bitcoin ETF is not required for a new monetary or technology system. Matter of fact, I would prefer these guys keep their tentacles out of the system, but whatever. Okay. Again, the media is always going to find something to say. And frequently, the media is wrong, particularly when it comes to things like sentiment and person of the year. Okay. Now, here's another thing that the media has to do because they're doing their job, not to over diss. Explaining Bitcoin's flash crash. Okay, allow me, please. So, if you had to buy crypto for, Darth Bitcoin here from BlackRock, if you were the entity in charge of draining the Bitcoin out of the market or draining the crypto out of the market for these entities, what would you do? Well, you would simply find a vulnerable point in the market, i.e., 1,000x trending on Twitter, and then you would just unload on the market. Just unload. Because, I mean, if you have to buy billions upon billions, I don't know, pounding the market with 250 million doesn't seem like a lot. And then you try to run stops. You get everybody convinced that there's going to be a deeper correction. You get everybody convinced that they don't have to buy the dip. And then what you do, you get everybody to sell what they bought at the top. Everybody gets caught at the top. I buy at the top, at least 3 times a year. Everyone sells, and then you get the liquidity and you buy everything you sold back plus more. And if people stay bearish, you can just, again, you can just keep taking it from people. So why is the market down? Why is it flash crashing? Well, it's flash crashing because retail got a little silly and big players pushed it down so they can buy it because that's the only way you can get the liquidity, right? It's like, is Solana going to go to 36? Well, maybe. But if Solana goes to 36, again, you'll have everyone standing down there waiting to buy it. Everyone. And I got stuff that I put in my Patreon about how much money is actually on the sidelines waiting for all risk assets, including crypto. Huge number, crazy chart. You got to get in there and check it out. Not to mention what happens if legacy portfolio managers start allocating money to crypto. Like people who do stocks and bonds go, we should have a little crypto. I got a great graphic on that. Don't go anywhere. Explaining the crash, that explains it. Binance market share of crypto trading tumbles 30%. Okay. So Binance shares tumble, share of cryptos tumble, which leads me to a very interesting question. If Binance, which is a huge funnel for liquidity, is weakened, what happens when everyone has to buy crypto in 2024? And the Binance pipe is kind of broken. It's just less liquidity, less robust mechanisms. Good for Coinbase. Have no idea why Cathie Wood is selling, but a weakened Binance means less liquidity, and less liquidity could lead to like a supply crisis. You want to know what you talk about on a flash crash? Not the flash crash, the supply crisis that's coming. That's why they do these shows on red days. Bitcoin, Ether, major altcoins in deep red. Bitcoin lead liquidation heat map with $335 million in wrecked positions over the last 12 hours. Okay, so your grandma's account got 50x margin loan thanks to you, unfortunately, at the top, and you got stopped out. Okay, not to diss grandma, but so what, right? If you got stopped out, you got stopped out, but you got stopped out because you got pushed out by somebody who hoovered up everything at the bottom, everything. And everyone's trying to explain it, and everyone's like, oh, this liquidation, whatever. Think about who pushed it and who's got to buy it. Okay, and here we come with the media again. Solana meme coin Bonk flips Pepe. Great. Right before this thing happened, some of the smartest people I know were like, I'm buying every dog meme coin across every network. So I'm going to buy the dog meme coin on Solana. I'm going to buy it on Avalanche. I'm just going to buy, that's my strategy. Now, traders, they got to do what they got to do. They got to take advantage of alt season. I get it. But this is not A, why we're in crypto. B, this is not going to help you buy dips and get in and have what? Conviction, right? Like you get the 3x, you get the 4x, great. You take it. Okay. But when it comes to like high conviction trades, this is your, obviously your Bitcoin, your Avalanche, your Solanas, now Algorand, Secret, Render, all this stuff, right? This stuff at its current price levels is a joke, and I can prove it relative to where it's traded in the past. You want to talk about, things like reverting to some sort of normal level? We'll talk about that. And that's what you want to be talking about, particularly conviction, when everyone's talking about meme coins. Okay. Bitcoin price corrects, hence start of alt season. Okay. So this is a little late to be talking about alt season after what we just went through. If anything, it may be time to start turning around and saying, hey, what do you want to do with Bitcoin? Say if there's one last heave at the end of the year. In other words, there could be a post-Christmas heave, and then after that, it's just, you'll never see it at whatever price it's at. You'll never see that again. You'll never see that again. Okay, Bitcoin inscriptions added to U.S. National Vulnerability Database. Okay, flagged Bitcoin inscriptions as a cybersecurity risk. Okay, again, what is the media writing about? All the wrong things. Bitcoin wipes out nearly a week of gains in 20 minutes. Now, that is true. They wiped out 5 days in 20 minutes, which is exactly what I would do, because I used to work on these type of trading desks, not at, not filling massive orders. But if you have to fill massive orders, you try to break the market so you can buy it lower. They wiped out 5 days in 20 minutes. And I hope they bought what they needed, because it doesn't, from looking at this, it doesn't look like they did. Yeah, they took everything down 10%. Now everyone's like, okay. Hey, like I said, happy flash crash. Now, I don't know if everything goes back up, right? But some things are going to go back up. Avalanche has rallied on its own before. It did it in 2021. So did Solana, right? So did Cardano. And we know that, well, we don't know. You may not know if you were here for the last cycle. ETH is perfectly capable of being its own beast. Stay tuned for the ETH charts. ChatGPT passes a neurology exam for the first time. Can I ask a question? Why is ChatGPT taking neurology exams? To generate a headline? To scare us all? Hey, people, it's going to be like splintered throughout the episode today. Let's just say that there's a large group of people out there that would like you to be somewhat less free than you want to be. That's as politely as I can say it. Okay. So they're working on Skynet. Skynet's going to be here soon. Yet no one's talking about decentralized privacy. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about how AI works in a decentralized universe so people can own a share in it while these guys fight over who gets to be God. Every time I see this, I go, oh, these guys, they're making the case for crypto. The case for crypto is the conviction that you need. 300 million crypto long liquidations. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You're going to laugh at these things in 6 months. You're like, oh, wow. Remember when everyone was hysterical about 300 million in liquidations? Okay. When this guy wants to buy it all, literally. Scary. Okay. Here's something the media may actually be getting right. Okay. If the ads will let me get to the headline, maybe not. Okay. God's Unchained. Okay. God's Unchained removed from an NFT store, the NFT game team. Okay. Now, notice this. Pudgy Penguins reveal Pudgy World NFT game. Wait a minute. You mean NFTs could wind up as digital trading cards like Pokemon cards? And NFTs may not be dead? What? first it was NFTs forever. Everything's going to be an NFT, right? Then it was like the market's dead. It's never coming back. And now they're back. Amazon Prime is giving out free items for NFT Game Champions Ascension. You know what I'm saying? Like Bitcoin ordinals. Not easy things to buy. Not easy things to understand. The whole JPEG mania may start all over again on Bitcoin. You want to talk about a hated rally? I have a little thing about that in here. Like the Bitcoin maximalists are losing their minds about the BRC20 tokens. In other words, that's things like Synthetic and Uniswap, except they're trading over there on Bitcoin's network. It'd be funny if Boomer blockchain wound up the big winner, along with all these other layer ones that everyone just flat out, there was like total mania and total despair, and reality is somewhere in the middle. Cathie Wood sells Coinbase shares in July as price rises. So I thought of this earlier. Is somebody telling Cathie Wood that she's got to sell those shares? Is Gensler on the phone with her going, yeah, why don't you sell? Don't think that could happen? Think again. The only reason to be doing this is because she's going to come in and buy the Bitcoin ETF, the spot Bitcoin ETF with both hands, and then take delivery of the Bitcoin, which again leads me to a question that I have been absolutely ruthlessly and relentlessly after. Where are all these people going to get all this Bitcoin that they want to take delivery of? I mean, where are they going to get it? Are they going to bid the price up to 150K? They're going to have to they're going to have to start taking over Bitcoin miners. They're going to have to try to buy MicroStrategy. I mean, where does this go? These crypto equities are just so depressed, right? Everyone's talking about 1,000x in altcoins. You should be talking about a 10x in some crypto equities and in the crypto market in general. Ethereum layer 2 Starknet. Wait, what's an Ethereum layer 2? You mean there's something out there that helps ETH trade without gas fees? Yeah. There's a whole world out there. There's like, Matic, Arbitrum, Starknet. I mean, I don't even know them all. What happens if everyone goes, I think ETH with these layer 2s could really, do something, especially at the end of the year, especially with everybody bearish, especially since ETH never really did anything on the way up anyway. Don't think it can happen? BlackRock and Fidelity hash out details over spot Bitcoin ETF redemption models with the SEC as anticipation mounts. Can't wait to see how BlackRock and Fidelity are going to be delivering Bitcoin to people. I'm sure the SEC is going to want to hear all about it. Again, everyone's talking about how they do it. No one's talking about where are they going to get all the Bitcoin to do it. FTX says IRS demands $24 billion in unpaid taxes. They just can't get off the FTX disaster stuff. Just can't leave it alone. But there is an important point about FTX, and that every single instrument is going to unwind all the declines that started with Celsius and ended with FTX, because all that was a giant margin call and forced selling. And it lasted for so long that people tried to assign meaning to it. Like, oh, number went down a lot, it must mean crypto no good. No. FTX was a margin call. It was like everybody going, oh, you borrowed too much money and the price went down, so you have to sell on a system-wide basis. And then things stayed down there because the Fed was tightening, which has nothing to do with the value of crypto. First, everyone had to sell. Then the Fed was restricting liquidity. Okay, now that's done. Now, what's the real value of all this stuff? Well, I got news for you. Not current prices. Even if it's like up and down and, one or two cryptos or 4 or 5 cryptos are mooning while everything else kind of is choppy. Like I said, instead of the crypto market, everything mooning, things take turns mooning. And some stuff maybe goes down. But again, what is the real value of crypto? Not the prices we're at now. Now, Senator Warren, okay, adds 5 co-sponsors to her bill. So probably 5 co-sponsors of people who are never in the news. So Elizabeth's like, hey, everybody want to be on the block every day saying bad stuff about crypto so I can get my face out there. I can't argue with the strategy. But again, I have a very simple question. Does this person want you to be free? Now, if you can really answer that question, I got a better idea. Are you free now? That's even better. Now, if you think about these questions, right, which my Patreon group, I'm just like conviction, 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 conviction in Patreon. Will not stop. By the way, you should get in there if you can. Because you know why? Because she doesn't want you to be free and I do. That's enough reason to get in there. Seriously. Every time you see this, she's doing you a favor. She's increasing your conviction in crypto. Where pension funds stand today on crypto investments. In other words, people in legacy are like, I know I should buy crypto, but I don't know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Yeah, well, they're going to figure out how to do it because the market's going to force them to do it. And I got one of the smartest guys ever, a thought leader on LinkedIn, a guy who I used to work with, talking about the possibility of like smaller legacy portfolio managers allocating up to 20% of their portfolios to Bitcoin. Okay. These cryptocurrencies hit all-time highs along with Bitcoin's recent pump. Okay, so the media is discovering Tau, Ordi, right? But of course, we got to write about Bonk, which was spectacular. And again, the media is like, oh, it's going to flip Sheeb and all that. That is not the point. And I love this. Bitcoin's social dominance tanks 30% as price dips. Okay, well, thank goodness people have stopped looking for Bitcoin. At least now we know they're not talking about 1000x. So everyone talking about 1000x? Flash crash. Everybody not looking at Bitcoin on Google anymore? Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. It's the most hated rally, market analyst says, of Bitcoin, Solana, and Avalanche. This is a great term from Legacy, the hated rally. In other words, everyone's bullish. Everyone's bullish. No one's long. And if they are long, they sell quickly, hence the flash crash. The people who aren't long are either bearish or they don't want to buy it because it's up too much. So let me ask you something. How high does the market have to go before everyone gets over themselves? Way higher than where it is right now. Now, if Bonk can lead us anywhere, okay, besides the Lambo dealer, if you owned it, Bonk leads us to understand what could happen when everyone stops hating the rally, when people stop fighting it, when people figure out how to buy crypto, when people start figuring out, oh my God, I need all this crypto, I have to take over a miner, et cetera, right? There were hated rallies in stocks in 2009, 2010, and 2011. And when the market went down and the charts broke, it was like throw the charts out the window. It's like them and the plunge protection team at the Fed were standing down there waiting for me to write a report that says all the charts are broken and this is going to go down. And I swear to God, I'd hit the publish button and sometimes it would just literally go straight up. Now, that was not a particularly fun experience for me, but in crypto, this throw the charts out the window mentality to a certain degree is fine. Because what you're going to need in this market, you're going to need some TA skills, but not as much as crypto YouTube wants you to believe. You need support, resistance, conviction, and you need to know where your coin was in April of 2022 and at the all-time high in 2021. If you got those three things, you can make money in this market. You know, you catch a small cap, great, but there's a lot of money to be made here. Now, another thing that the media just cannot get off of, NVIDIA emerges as leading investor in AI companies. Okay, we know we need chips for computers to build Skynet. Okay, we know. What is the market cap of NVIDIA? I think it's greater than total crypto market cap. It might be. And even if it's not, again, how do you want to trade AI? I mean, are we saying that ChatGPT and NVIDIA and Microsoft is how we're going to trade AI or how we're going to do AI? Really? I mean, are we just going to go, you know what? I want to be a mindless zombie. Please take away my freedom, my rights, my money, my car, my beef. Just take it all. I don't need it. I mean, the greatest place other than the voting booth to take back what is organically yours is crypto. Period. I mean, my Patreon people, I can't stop pounding on this. Now, nearly half of U.S. voters think that the administration's policy on a country in Eastern Europe is wrong. Let me ask you something. I'm not a particularly big fan of one of the countries out there in Eurasia, but do these guys have your best interest at heart? Yeah, I mean, maybe they're trying to do the right thing as leaders at a base level, but at the end of the day, is their behavior in your best interest? You know whose behavior is in your best interest? Yours. And if crypto's down 10%, then you know what? I'm turning on the show. I'm calling my producer. I'm going, dude, we're on the air on red days. It's crypto or these two. Look at this. Harvard's deepening disunity pits alumni against faculty. You know, is anyone not fighting with anyone else? Been listening to a couple of commentators lately on Twitter about these people who may want you to be less free than you might normally be. You know, these people went up to Congress and, you know, they didn't lie. Congress asked them a question and they answered it. Now, I don't know if you've read about this. I don't know if you care about this, but there's a sect out there in the world, like not just in the United States, in the world that doesn't really care about you. They don't. They don't care about what's right. It's like 1984 and Brave New World. What's right is wrong. What's wrong is right. And you'll believe it. Seriously. I read these books when I was in high school, when Ronald Reagan was president. I was like, oh my God, what a ridiculous book. This could never happen. People, it's happening right now. And the greatest revolt against that is crypto. That's why crypto on a 10% down day, you don't go, oh, gee, it's going to go down another 10%. You go, oh, goody. This means I either got to buy it now or I get to buy it now and Christmas or just wait and do Bitcoin at Christmas, whatever. But you're not going to like yourself if you said, you know what, I gave up on crypto and I ceded my power to these people because it went down 10% in my face. Don't do it. Okay. Such and such player in Silicon Valley updates its crypto ad policy. Okay. I actually got really hurt. I was working for a company that basically in 2018, because of the ICO nonsense, okay, you know, Google pulled crypto ads. That was the end. Ensuring water security. Here heard real world assets on the blockchain, RWA. On Morales Money, you can check out. There's like, the latest 12x always pops up there. Somebody says they're doing real world assets on the blockchain with some real estate NFTs. The group I work for, Emerging Assets Group, we have an answer about water. It literally, it's the best thing that we've come up with. And it's better than 3/4 or more of what's already out there in real world assets. Because people were pumping stuff that was nonsensical, and our stuff's way better than that. Defense Procurement International just wrote about it. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you're in my Patreon for all the news about that. Okay, let's see who else was here. Okay, Mark says, well said. Bitcoin is a vote for freedom. Steve is here, right? Talking about FET and AIOZ. Okay. Crypto Crazy, T-Bone, what's up? Got some Riot today. Excellent. Okay. Elizabeth Warren meme coin. Raj, welcome. Elizabeth Warren meme coin. Okay. Oh my God. The night shift at the Amsterdam airport. Art, what's going on? I got to put that up there. That is classic. You have surpassed, you have now, because of the late nights, you have surpassed the glory of an individual who watched me at a former place at a UPS truck in Brooklyn. The night shift in Amsterdam on the market update. Sir, all Christmas and holiday love to you. Steve says alt season has not started. T-Bone from Tampa, Mr. Market, welcome. Nico F, Johannes, good evening. All right. Patriot Caveman from New Orleans. Okay, we got to go PowerPoint now and further explain what's going on with this market. Okay, there's the what, the how, and the why, and what you should do about it. I'm covering it all. So if you're confused, prepare to get unconfused. Okay, total 3 is a metric. It's a symbol on TradingView. It's total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum or altcoins, basically. Everything else except Bitcoin and Ethereum. So total 3 was in a triangle. And when you break out of a triangle, you travel this distance, the blue line, from the point of the breakout. So total 3 got to its price target, rather nifty, but price made a new high and the stochastics did. So that's why you get this blowout move to the downside. Okay. And, sometimes this type of divergence is not resolved with just one down move, unless we're throwing out the charts. Okay. If it is resolved with one down move, we're throwing out the charts. But for the moment, let's respect it. And let's say that this is about to become a market of cryptos, meaning that they're going to be a select bunch like Avalanche, maybe Algorand and Secret, that are just going to keep right on mooning. Anything with privacy and security token functionality is going to move. Now, as far as the rest of the market goes, it could be a day, it could be 2 weeks. You're going to have to keep your trading hat on. Right, we just came out of a market where traders got run over. They're waiting for dips. They're getting short on spikes, expecting the correction, and they didn't get it until they did. And now these guys are in charge of the market. So make no mistake, the traders are in charge, right? So don't sell weakness and don't buy strength. If you don't know what to do, stick with that. Okay, you still got to believe in crypto, but chasing stuff may not make sense. Because chasing stuff just worked. And now all the people who make money off people chasing and people dumping at the low end of ranges are probably in charge of the market for at least 2 weeks. Now, of course, I hope they get smoked and the whole thing just turned around and goes straight up again. But I have to be realistic, right? Because there's tax situations involved, right? Like you sell the winners, you take your profits, and then stuff that didn't do well, you dump it. You offset your gains with your losses. This is going to be going on for 2 weeks, and you have to accept that. That's why every altcoin is not going to moon over the next 10 days. Now, starting next year, we could start the whole cycle over again where Bitcoin moons at the end of the year, and then possibly everything follows. We'll see. Okay, how did this thing top? How did the sentiment shift happen? Okay, so it happened when 1000X started trending on Twitter on December 9th, leading me to get outside and luckily find an EMS truck and stand here and make fun of all the 1000X dummies, right? Like 1000X is something you get from doing like hardcore research, and then you're met by this fortuitous like serendipity of, you know, the studying that you did pays off in that whatever you bought becomes a major market theme, the way Matic did, right? The way Matic did way back in the day when it went from like 1 cent to $3. Okay, because everyone's got tired of paying ETH gas fees. But when everyone's looking for 1000X after a 2-month rally, you get the ambulance. And then, of course, over here on this platform, you know, the Ethereum comeback, 700 views. And that was like the best one I had. Then on December 9th, when 1000X is trending, nobody is listening to me about crypto. It's still going 30,000 views. I mean, when 30,000 people on TikTok are looking for crypto content, sell. Just like, you know, tens and hundreds of thousands of people were looking for crypto content at the bottom of the market, buy. Unfortunately, it was that simple. And it came on you like that, reinforcing an oddity in crypto, the crypto market's unique ability to just F itself, right? Like crypto always manages to be stupid right at a moment where some golden fundamental, you know, like think tank thought leadership shift is happening. We go bonk and 1000X and but, you know, good for Larry and his bunch, because that gave them the opportunity to hoover it up, because they really don't care about the negative divergence on the total 3 chart. I mean, yeah, that might make a difference for 2 weeks, but people don't care. They just don't care. Right now, here's why they don't care. Okay, so the market update itself was actually written by this guy, Jordy Visser, a long time ago on a Bloomberg terminal, a daily report where he would actually try to predict the day-to-day movements in the stock market. We worked for Morgan Stanley back in 2000, 2003. Okay, he's now like a thought leader with some multi-strategy investment fund on the legacy side. And here's something worth listening to. If you want to have your portfolio, meaning your legacy portfolio, make more than 10% a year, you're going to have 50% of your money in cash. Wow. 30% in what I'm calling the fiat 60-40 bucket, meaning a mix of stocks and bonds. And the 20% is my belief that Bitcoin should be 20% of people's portfolio. So instead of 60% stocks, 40% bonds, or 60-40, he wants 50-30-20. 50 cash, 30 traditional, and 20 Bitcoin. Now, folks, let me just ask you a quick question. If Larry, okay, and the Legion of Doom need to go out there and scoop up all the Bitcoin, and then everybody follows the thought leader here and goes 50-30-20, right? When everyone's allocation to Bitcoin right now is either 1% or 0. What happens when every wealth advisor goes, yeah, we got to get 20% of our portfolio. And then there's so much money sitting on the sidelines that the only way you're going to get to see the graph is inside my Patreon. You realize that if 20% of the world's available money in money markets winds up in Bitcoin or crypto, where these prices are going. So not only do you have Larry and friends after it, but you could have the Jordys, the Schwabs, all of these players going, yeah, you know, we really need to allocate a real chunk to Bitcoin. A good reason to be in my Patreon, because if anything, one of the things that I try to help you guys with is talk to you about stuff before other people start talking about it, right? In other words, it's better to be an analyst, to be less popular, but early. So it allows you to get your book adjusted and most importantly, get your head adjusted so you can take advantage of it. The typical American household must spend an additional $11,000 annually or almost $1,000 a month more just to maintain the same standard of living they enjoyed in January of 2021. Right. A nice number that really tells you that the inflation rate was never 8%. It was like 80%. Okay. This inflation is going to leave a permanent mark. A permanent mark. Okay. And people are always going to want an alternative to the dollar. They have learned that inflation is too many dollars chasing too few goods. During COVID, we did nothing for a year. We produced no goods. And central banks printed $14 trillion in a month. Too many dollars chasing too few goods. Right? I mean, that lesson in the 90s was so boring. Nobody even wanted to go through it. Like, yeah, we know. No, actually, we didn't know. We didn't. But now you do. So, I mean, what's Gen Z going to do for investments? You know, as they turn 24, 25, what are they going to do? They're going to do crypto. They're not just going to do crypto. They're going to do crypto heavy. Goldman Sachs Commodity Index. So this is a head and shoulders top, 3 attempts at a rally. And if this actually works and commodity prices over a period of years winds up going back down to where it was when COVID started, that's $30 oil. Now, this would be good for crypto in the sense that falling commodity prices keep the hope of rate cuts alive, right? Rate cuts on an event that forces the Fed to cut rates, probably not good for crypto, honestly. But him not tightening and the next move being lower rates is nirvana for crypto, and lower commodity prices would help the case. And if commodities do go down and stay down, I don't know if they will, but if they do, yeah, it's kind of a long-term signal there. Stocks, I got one word for stocks: uninterested. This is the S&P. They have a new high in prices and no new high in the DeMark momentum indicators. Now, brief word on this. If stocks want to ignore the negative divergences, so can altcoins. Right? What's the difference between S&P and Solana? Well, that's yesterday's news and today's news. Right? So if they continue on and they ignore the negative divergences, great. Now, they may have a down day or two. I mean, I really am not excited about the Dow Jones Industrial Average here. Short sellers lost $80 billion in November in legacy in stocks. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, this does not make me particularly excited. I think if there is a risk to crypto, it's maybe that people gets kind of smacked. But if it doesn't, oh my God, Katie barred the door in crypto. S&P, same thing. Now, back to Bitcoin. 42K is important. This is a diagonal line from fib speed resistance fan lines. Okay, notice what happened when you broke one here. I mean, when you break these things, it just goes. Now, with Bitcoin, this is a weekly chart. If you close above 42K, it's really nothing more than just a good retest and then blue skies. If it closes the week, this is a week from now below 42K, well, that's not that great. Okay, then you got to wait another 2 weeks. But this thing manages to get itself back over 42K. That's really good. Okay, T-Bone, yes, we can look at Riot and MARA. Okay, we looked at Riot and MARA in Patreon, which you should get yourself over and hang out with me and T-Bone. Definitely will cover that for you, brother. Okay, Ethereum. Gee, this is pretty simple. People are like, I don't know anything about TA. Yes, you do, because you're totally capable of drawing a line and then looking to the left. So here you are at the green arrow. Okay. You draw a line and here's a high and here's a high. Okay. That was April of this year. And this was the acceleration point for the end of the world back in the Celsius days. So ETH breaks through this level and then it comes back down and retests it and trades like total garbage. Like it looks like it's just going to snap. Brief word about that. Nothing ever trades good at a high. Nothing ever trades bad at a high. And nothing ever trades good at a low. You never look at the market at a low and go, oh, yeah, wow, look at the way this holds up. No. At a low, it's like, oh, my God, it's going to go down 30%. It's going to crash. That's, I swear to God, that's what ETH looked like, down 7% this morning. It was like, oh, I can't even look. But they're bringing it right into support. Larry, Mike Novogratz, all his friends standing down here to take it from you. At least that's what I think. Okay. ETHE, Ethereum in the equity market, like GBTC, a trust that holds Ethereum. These things are going to become less relevant because of the Bitcoin ETF, but there's no resistance until 26. So everyone who wants to give up on ETH, there's tons of support in terms of a gap at 17 and 18 and no resistance as far as I can tell. Because if you look at the market on a diagonal basis, I have no idea why everyone's tripping over themselves to sell ETH. I really don't. Total 2 market cap, 713 billion. I can draw 806. And this correction looks totally organic. I mean, you break a level, you come back down, you flush everybody out. If you can hold support, it goes back up again. Especially given the fact that, as we noted earlier, total 2, right? This is market cap without Bitcoin. They wiped out 5 days. They wiped everybody out. Like if Larry's got to buy and Jordy's got to buy and everyone's got to buy and everyone who just bought the last 5 days is sold, who's left to sell to Larry and Jordy? Algorand. Okay. Once upon a time, Wall Street liked Algorand. I'm not an Algorand expert, but 18 cents was a key level in late 2022. It went below it and came back above it. It bounced off of it in March. It went down after it failed in May. So it's a huge level. Algorand holds 18 cents. Algorand's going higher. You have a DeMark 9 top, and to keep it really simple, when you have a 9 top like this, you have this signal, you go up, and then you can have a counter trend move. This was nasty. And if it holds and it turns around and starts going back up again, you could have 13 more up days in algo. You could have a trend that looks just like that one. No problem. No problem. Now, could it take 4 days? Yeah. Could it take 4 hours? Yeah. In other words, could this just be it? Was that it? People are looking for lower prices. They may not get them. Or you might get them 2 weeks from now and have it be really annoying. I didn't say the market was going to be hard. The easy money probably has been made. However, you can pick your cryptos because it is a market of cryptos. If you get the right ones and you get the right theme, in other words, you're not fixated on Bonk, right? Not the diss, right? People who made money, they made spectacular money, but everyone who didn't is distracted, and I don't want you to be distracted. Solana, 6270 was good support on hidden pivot levels. I still think Solana can go to 100. I still do. Now, if they break 6270, then the chart's broken and blah, 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 blah. But I'm not seeing a reason for Solana to go below 6270 with Avalanche. Like, I thought my screen was broken earlier. I was like, wait, is that Avalanche printing 40? I thought it was broken. So I don't know who thinks Solana is going to unwind all this. Maybe, but why? And if it did, who would be down there? Everybody. Secret. They bought the dip. This is a perfect rounding bottom. It's just like Algorand before it exploded. I mean, you can do NFTs, movies, stable coins. I mean, they're actively taking your freedoms away And the only person standing between you and a George Orwell novel is Elon Musk and the green button that says buy, not investment advice. Elon and your index finger. Those are the mechanisms for freedom as of right now. Ballot box pending in November. Who knows if that's reliable? I prefer Elon and the green button personally. Okay, MicroStrategy. We're going to cover Riot and MARA in a minute. Absolutely no reason why this can't be a $700 stock, even if they drop it back down to 520 something. Who cares? This guy has all the Bitcoin in the world, and this stock is probably worth $1,000 or more because of liquidity problems. Where are you going to get your Bitcoin from? Binance? Galaxy Digital? Okay, they'll put orders in, but they're not going to sell you their Bitcoin. So where are you going to get it from? Miners. Or they have to buy MicroStrategy. It's as simple as that. Okay, Riot Blockchain. Okay, hit 16, probably came off today. Obviously, 16 is still the level, or maybe 1580. Like Riot Blockchain has got to break the recent highs before it can get loose. If it does, it goes to 24. I mean, what has this done? Nothing. Nothing. And then, I don't know, they have debt, they have this. There's always a story with these Bitcoin miners is why you should not own them. If they can own or produce Bitcoin, even if they've got leveraged against them, they've got the Bitcoin. Somebody will pay off their loans to get the Bitcoin. Like, what's a Bitcoin making machine worth? It's like, what's an oil rig worth at $140 oil 10 years ago? Galaxy Digital, moving my upside target to 27. This is from Jesse Livermore. This is an accumulation cone. Jesse Livermore was a trader in the 1920s. Okay. He identified this pattern where something will make an upward sloping cone and then go parabolic. His trading diary became the first TA textbook, and he was fictionalized in a book called Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, which in the 90s you were handed on day one when you walked into a market job. Okay. Explain to me why Galaxy Digital, a crypto hedge fund, the Goldman Sachs of crypto, the elite financial institution that doesn't have to worry about terrible interest rate risk management, or so we hope, should not unwind everything that happened since the start of FTX. This was at 27 when FTX and Celsius started, and everyone was falling over themselves to sell it today at 9. Are you kidding me? ETH weekly. Okay. Normally in DeMark work, these represent a set of conditions, the first part of a trend or the top of a range. If it's the first part of a trend, it'll go up. You'll have a 9 signal, set of conditions present for the 9th time. Then you have a correction. Then if it holds, it turns around and goes back up again. You get 13 more up weeks. So this is totally organic. This is it within theory. It's perfect. Like, and not only is it perfect, but they didn't do some little BS correction. So you didn't have to sit there and go, gee, I wonder if they're really going to waste this thing. They just wasted it. Right back to support. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Bitcoin monthly, just a brief question. Oh my God, it's a flash crash. Everything's going to zero. Can you even tell there was a down move if you look at the December monthly candle? No, you can't. ETH, can you? Really? I mean, could you tell that there were down moves in these 6 months leading up to this parabolic? And even if there was, did you care? Who cares? Who cares? That's the market update. All right, let's get over to T-Bone. Let's get some live TA going for my guys. By the way, this show is brought to you by my Patreon. Do you realize for $15 a month, you can get the kind of service that was being offered for $230 a month last bull market? Same service from me in Patreon. 1,200 people watch the market update every day when I put it out here for free. Where is everybody? Come on over. Let me help you out. Okay, trying to get Riot up here. Okay, I'm getting computer cooperation now. All right. So, some wicked action here. Let's start with this. Because, you know, share screen. Okay. So, let's draw a line. Let's draw a line. Okay. There's a line. Okay. So here's a gap. All right. Kind of some extreme volatility here. But if we go all the way back to April of 2023 in Riot, okay, this is where you topped out. Then you exploded above it. Then when you came down, you exploded below it and crashed and went into winter. And now, just like Algorand, it broke out, it gapped up, and we filled the gap. Technical analysis textbook, page 20. Gaps get filled. So what did they do today in Riot? Well, they filled the gap. Thank you. Thanks for filling that gap in, boys. Just hoover it on up. Not seeing anything going on there, particularly on DeMark, but, you know, of course, can't resist bringing up the weekly chart. That Riot blockchain is now at 14, and at the top of the last cycle, it was at 75. And when Celsius got started, let's see over here, Riot was at 23. Okay, people falling over themselves to sell it at 14 when it's got $10 of upside. Really? I just look at this and I'm like, I can't believe what I'm looking at. Okay. Okay. So Marathon has been doing well and was at resistance. So the pullback does make some sense there. Okay. But again, gaps get filled, right? You had a prior high here from August, right? No one wanted it at 13. So they drove it down to 7 because it was never going up again in our lifetime. And then everyone's selling it at 14 because it's filling a gap. Now it may trade, I don't know, you might have to put up with it for 2 days. But again, this is what you need to know. In March of 2022, Marathon was at 31. The all-time high is 80. Like, it's a spreadsheet. Like, where is it now? Where was it a week ago? Where was it in March of 2022? And where was it in November of 2021? And that's the market update. No, seriously. TA-wise, that's what you need. That's what you need. And I'm doing this stuff for you guys. I'm doing it in Patreon. We're finding the rounding bottoms. But most importantly, we're maintaining the themes that help you have the conviction. That help you have conviction. Conviction is what matters. It's conviction that what matters. Okay? DeFi Perp. Can't resist a chance to look at DeFi Perp. By the way, while I'm on the subject of that, you know, at some point here, something like synthetics is going to come back. Something like that. One of these DeFi platforms like synthetics, where there's just been total freaking despair, right? Total despair. I don't know. Let's see if I can draw something for DeFi Perp. Now, by the way, again, this is live TA. We are eventually bringing some functionality like this into the Patreon group where people are going to be able to do request-based stuff. So rounding bottom, like Secret, trying to break out the top. Looks like you got a battle going on right at 861. I can't believe it's a coincidence that DeFi Perp tried to break out and then tried to come back and wash everybody out. When the simple fact of the matter is if you look at where it is now, and then this air pocket over here, in other words, it went straight down in August of 2022. So if this flash crash doesn't produce any more downside, it could just turn around and go right back up again. Just turn around and go right back up again. I mean, and somebody says, you know, conviction, cash, and courage. I don't know, man. I don't know that I could end a market update with anything better than that. You know, if you're doing trades, make sure you're not feeding the trading predators. That's for the next 2 weeks because they're going to be in control of the market. Now, just because the traders are in control of the market doesn't mean the trend traders have to abandon their conviction. If anything, you harden your conviction by saying, you took it down 10%. That's nice. Good for you. Come talk to me in 6 months. This is the mentality that you want to have. You join my Patreon to get TA? Yes. You join my Patreon to get thought leadership. Because if you get the theme right, the trade follows. The portfolio develops. People are like, oh, how do I invest $3,000? Well, I can help you with that. But if you get the thought leadership component of it right, like Web3, security tokens, if you get that part, you can go to Coinbase and help figure it out yourself for a fraction of what other people are charging. So that's the market update. That's the value proposition. I will see you in Patreon.